Hi all, welcome to yet another episode of One Pitch Catch. This is in better times, happier times for Indian fans when we have leveled the series 1-1 after the first two tests in England. Not just leveling, this has been a great win considering the way that we were after the first test. It was a record chase by England in the first test. After that, coming back here, it's not just the win; it's the positives that really stand out in terms of we didn't play Bumrah for to safeguard him. We didn't pick Kuldeep, and the way Akash and Siraj bowled is absolutely huge. I feel. Um, also the bold calls of picking Washington ahead of Kuldeep, all those things worked. But at the same time, let's also not forget, let's not get carried away with all the euphoria of the win and all those things. We also have to think that this is the same think tank that failed to pick Akash in the first test and pick Prasid ahead of him. So
Yeah, where
those
was
questions.
he?
Yeah, so
Where did
so
Akash disappear?
yeah, so I don't think it was the wisest of move in the first test also. But now with what has happened in Edgbaston, it's actually fabulous. The way Siraj, Akash, the way everybody our batter stood up like in the first test. Our batter stood up in the first test also. Especially Shubman Gill was absolutely brilliant.
It was amazing.
What did you see of Shubman's innings and a few other things, Jaga?
Yeah, he was just amazing. I think to do it twice in a test was just wonderful. Like I mentioned in that very small video posted a couple of days ago, there's definitely something that he's done from a technique and attitude and just shot selection perspective. So hopefully that continues, whatever he's working on. Uh, I to that extent, I think overall, from a batting perspective itself, the test was a pretty good one for India's batsmen. Most of them, for the most part, got some runs. You could argue Karun probably didn't cash in as much as the others did, but pretty much everybody got runs. Nitish Reddy didn't actually do anything in both innings. He was pretty much a passenger for most of the test. So some questions which we'll get to in the next episode. But yeah, I mean, overall, it was a great win, especially the fact that the attention is on the people that were not there and India still won. That gives you an indicator that the does the end justify the means though, right? Just because they won doesn't necessarily make the selections right. I don't think so. I still think Kuldeep should have played. He could have played. I mean, obviously, it's all in just speculation, right? He could have had a better impact with England at 80 for 5 in the 84 for 5 in the first innings, and then they had a triple hundred partnership. How would he have impacted the partnership? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he would have done something because the pitches had started giving some help by that time. There was some level of uneven bounce. There was a little bit of turn also. So yeah, I mean, the selection calls did work, but we'll see. We'll see how the selection for the next test pans out. I really hope we can cover that in the next video. But I wanted to touch upon a few things here in terms of Shubman Gill himself. Like his batting is obviously at a different level across everybody in the entire test match itself. From a few things that we did pick in from a captaincy perspective was I think the field placements are a bit of a concern. He was almost like ball chasing, and this is something that we've seen a lot of Indian captains do, right? It almost makes me feel like it's part of the job description or something like that, saying, minimum criteria is that you should wait for one ball after the edge has gone through the second slip. Only then you plug that second slip. Same way you do it for like, I don't know what, I've never understood the point of having one slip and then a third or a fourth slip, keep a gap in between. And in this test, it was at least you have a third man, at least that will plug the boundaries. In this case, the third one is very square. So batsmen are getting boundaries anyway. Plus, Jadeja bowled a lot of overs over the wicket yesterday, in particular, which, given the amount of spin that the pitch was having and the amount of assistance that was there, it just seemed bizarre because it's it's probably going to turn too much. Or in anyway, taking the LBW out of the equation, the batsman can just pad it away. So I just think those are, and maybe some questionable DRS calls as well. I think there's a little bit of things to be worked out from a captaincy perspective, but from a batting perspective, he's been absolutely amazing. And I think the things that people were worrying about is he able to compartmentalize the batting and the captaincy, right? And I think we're seeing definitely that the captaincy so far is not affecting his batting. What did you see, Ganesh?
Exactly, Jagat, because the compartmentalizing of batting and captaincy is a very important thing. He is able to compartmentalize it well, though he's doing very well in one of the compartments and not too well in the other one. So we also have to compartmentalize when we give feedback or criticize, so to say, his captaincy. People should not jump up saying that you cannot talk again. It
Yeah,
cannot be blasphemy. It cannot be seen as blasphemy because his batting. There is it would be it would take something bigger than an idiot to talk about his batting the way like you said in the previous video about his short selection and his effort, that is hard work that has gone into making this possible. It's commendable, more than commendable. But this captaincy, there is a lot of things. Yesterday, like I said, I was also watching and I felt that Jadeja should have bowled round the wickets because Jadeja round the wicket, his ball darting in a lot of times, bigger batsmen, much better batsmen in their prime have played for the turn and have missed the ball. LBW bowled has happened several times. So I think he was wasting 2, 3 overs bowling to Bashir over the stumps. Now, see, that's what this is a time when I mean, not that because we have won, we cannot forget all these things. Small, small things. This didn't cost us this test
yeah,
match,
right.
but it could cost us in future games. So these things are the things that a captain and a coach should be proactive and figure it out. I mean, probably like again, like I started saying, picking Prasid ahead of Akash, we lost the first test. We don't know if Akash would have made
Yeah,
an impact in the first test itself. And imagine we leading 2-0 going in England in the first two tests with a very young team, very young captain. So that, I mean, already I feel England has more questions to answer than India after this win. It's not just
yeah.
because
Especially,
India
I
has.
think most of the sessions have been won by, at least most of the days aggregate sessions have been won by India for the most part,
I
right?
mean, except that 1.5 sessions when Brook and Jamie Smith took us apart, I think this game was always, except that time, that 300-run partnership, we were completely dominating the game. See, imagine somebody has a 300-run partnership, and outside of that, it was completely dominated by the opponent, which is great. So, like we spoke about, it was whether binary. Last time it was whether 100 or single digits for India. It is binary, that 300-run partnership, and everything else was India otherwise. So,
Yeah,
so that way, I feel, but at the same time, we should not forget these small, small things that we missed in the first two tests. I feel um, picking ahead Prasid ahead of Akash was not the wisest of things
yeah,
when we look back after this test, especially. And I, like you said, not playing Kuldeep. I don't know because we played Washington, and Washington's first innings batting helped us enormously. Though Nitish Kumar Reddy didn't contribute, probably you can now in hindsight argue you could have played Kuldeep ahead of Nitish Kumar.
yep,
And the small captaincy in terms of plugging the gaps, making the bowler bowl round the wicket or over the wicket, like we spoke about Jadeja. All those things can be. I mean, obviously he is a new captain. He's not captained
yeah,
much before,
learn.
also. So if he can learn better, learn from these things, India will only benefit. But talking of captaincy, I think we have to talk about the other captain also, Jaga, in Ben
Okay.
Stokes. I feel a lot of times weird and so-called cute fielding positions he places don't yield much results. I feel he's just doing it for the sake of the baseball
Commentators.
thing that they keep talking about. And his bowling, he's bowling well, though he doesn't want to bowl that much. I think he's bowling more because his the attack that he has is not potent enough to pick 20 wickets, so he's bowling. Though he want because of his body, his previous surgeries and all those things. But I think as a batsman, he's fading, which is not good news for England
Yeah,
or the baseball tactics.
yeah.
And
I think
yeah, go ahead.
uh, I just think the cute field placements, they just become meaningless beyond a point of time. right? I mean, the batsman knows. I mean, you have a fielder that is placed right next to the non-striker. It's happened for so many years by now. The batsman knows, okay, I have some other gap, I'll just go there. Or I think the one interesting thing has been when they keep having a leg slip and they bowl an in-swinging line because they know the Indian batsmen are inevitably going to flick, and that is probably the one thing that's been a, I don't know if it's actually resulted in any wickets, but it's probably stopped the flow of runs in that direction. Other than that, I think the field placements seem more for the cameras and for the commentators to be oohing and eyeing about, saying, what a brilliant move there, and let's see if it pays off. Well, it doesn't pay off most of the time.
I mean, Sai Sudarshan nicked and got out when that in the first innings of the first test. Apart from that, I don't remember. But and also, I think Ben Stokes is just basking in the baseball glory, and I still think there's a lot of questions can be asked of Ben Stokes, the captain, and the batsman, of course.
I think you have to ask questions about the ECB and the poor deals with the pitches as well. I think one of the challenges that you're seeing is that the pitches are very, very flat. That just suits the whole narrative around, we'll have a chase and we can chase down anything. And Jitan Patel was saying, yeah, yeah, whatever, bring it on, we'll figure it out, we'll find a way to win and things like that. So what is happening is that their bowling innings are invariably long because the pitches are very good for batting. So like you've seen, right? I mean, in this series already, every single time India has gone past 300, three times over 400 or something like that, right? And then because the speed of the batting, their batting innings are shorter because of the speed of the batting and the high risk that they choose, the batting innings become shorter. As a result of which, the recovery time for the bowlers is very, very, very less. It keeps reducing over time. So now they've played that same 11 two times in a row. I'm pretty sure somebody will go out in favor of Jafra Archer for the third test. But I don't know what this does for more longer term, right? In terms of their own bowling stocks and things like that. They can, and all of this works at home because when you go away, nobody's going to give you these flat pitches. We've seen over the years that perhaps with the exception of England, pretty much every home country is dealing out pitches that suit their style of bowler. So you are not going to get flat pitches anywhere else. So I don't know where, even from a strategic perspective, this whole concept, I don't know how long it's going to last.
I think I think they want to give the flat wickets to this, especially to this Indian team. I mean, who are completely new batsmen. Give it, and because I mean, ECB and basketball think tank know that the India strength is bowling. I mean, though they
Sure.
are at 1-1 because of the batting this time, so they expect it. So they don't want to give a green pitch or a completely
That's
seaming
true.
wicket to Bumrah and Siraj and end up at 110 all out. The way they throw their
Yeah.
bats around, they could be 110 all out on a day also. That could happen with
And they
this
were 80
Indian
for
team.
5 in both innings this time, by the
Yeah,
way. So,
exactly. They were 80 for 5 in both innings. So I am very curious to see the wicket that they are going to lay out because in this one pitch catch we had told that their tactic would be to give 5 flat wickets over the 5 test
yeah.
matches. But now I think after this result, like I said, England have more questions to answer than India because India is pretty much, though it's not coming out of this win, even a draw. England has more questions, even if the second
Yeah.
test had ended in a draw, because we are not playing Bumrah, leave alone Kuldeep. At least Bumrah, I mean, already Gill has said that definitely Bumrah will be coming back for the
Yeah.
next test. So, with Bumrah in, I think probably Prasidh will definitely go out for Bumrah. And I don't know
Yeah.
how they will handle Washington and Nitish Reddy. Let's see, that
Yeah.
is for another day. But I
Yeah.
think England have definitely more questions there. One thing that they can be happy about is Root, his big 100 has still not come in the series. So that is something that they can look. But otherwise, there is something that we definitely have to look at. I mean, and also this the gap between the second test and third test is just 3 days.
Yeah.
So, like you said, the bowlers' recovery and all those things is going to be uphill for England now.
Yeah, and I think they would also do well to advise Harry Brook not to be part of any triple century partnerships, because I was just doing some research. There have
Hmm.
been a total of 5 triple century partnerships in all of Test cricket where the team has lost. So And Harry Brook has been in two of them. He's the only one that finds a repeat mention. The other instance where he was involved was that one-run loss against New Zealand a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I think they'll basically say, look, just get it 299 and let the
299. If
partnership.
your partnership is 299, get out. You get out or
Yeah,
get the other one out.
yeah.
So
So,
that
and
is
like you said, Joe Root definitely seems due. He has got a few starts here and there, so maybe it's just and the fact that India has been able to restrict him, given the impact that he's had in previous series, is in itself pretty creditable.
4 innings, 4 full innings.
Yeah.
They've restricted him. So that's
Well, I
very.
mean, not the final innings in the second test, so 3 innings out of four, basically.
I mean, the
He was
first
not out
test.
in the second, in the first
Yeah.
test, sorry, yeah.
First test. So, but still, I mean, he had to play for a longer time. That time, he was not. It was not that he had to come out and score 10, 15 runs. He had to
Right, right. Yeah, yeah,
shepherd the chase. Actually, once Duckett got out, he had to shepherd the chase. So, which
yeah.
he did. I mean, again, like you said, he's not got that big daddy hunters that we have known him to be scoring the last 3, 4 years. Um, so, like I said, let's see. I mean, now with 1-1, I think the series is extremely well poised. You can look at it like a
Now
three
it's
test
basically a three-test series.
three test series. And if it's a three-test series, and we are hoping Bumrah to play two of them now.
Yeah,
So that becomes. But one thing, just a word of caution to the Indian team: let this win not become a distraction. We should stay sharp and aim for the series win. Obviously,
yeah,
the momentum can become dominance only when it's handled right. Right.
correct, yeah.
So you cannot
Because England had
lose.
the momentum going into this test, right?
Yeah, so dude, you cannot lose the momentum. You cannot. Uh, I mean, yes, it has to be handled right. The momentum, like you
Yeah,
said, yes,
absolutely.
England had the momentum going into this game. Mhm.
Yeah. Anyway, so we'll come back again maybe on the day of the second test that starts on the 10th. Probably come back then the previous day with a preview of what's in store. Until then, thanks a lot. Keep watching and keep following us. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.